Our organization want their respect. Laker Nation want their respect. And I want my damn respect too.
LeBron James will undoubtedly go down as one of the best players on the NBA's all-time Mount Rushmore of superstars. He's been at the top of his game for over a decade and helped to solidify his record with another title in 2020 with a third different franchise. However, even the best players have some moments where they're caught slipping, and in this video, we're diving into the times throughout his career when LeBron James was left embarrassed. But first, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We are giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Getting swept in the finals. LeBron and the Lakers are the NBA champions right now, but LeBron hasn't come away with a win every time he's made it to the biggest stage. Critics of LeBron are quick to bring up his finals losses when LeBron is compared to other greats such as Michael Jordan, and the worst of these defeats came during the 2007 finals when LeBron and the Cavs were unable to win a single game against the San Antonio Spurs. The outcome was a bit predictable. Unlike his second time around in Cleveland, LeBron didn't have a ring at that point. He was still a more raw player, and it was becoming more apparent with every season that the Cavs team around him wasn't that good. The first era of LeBron James with the Cavs was largely defined by their inability to put talent around their best player in the same way that they did during LeBron's second stint, where he was accompanied by Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. But in 2007, it was a different story, and the more unproven Cleveland team found themselves facing one of the most consistent franchises in the league. The Spurs came into the series having won titles in 1999, 2003, and 2005. In 1999 and 2003, they took home titles with the help of a younger Tim Duncan and an older David Robinson. By the time they met the Cavs in 2007, the Spurs fully moved on from Robinson to rely on Duncan and the talented future Hall of Famers Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. The Spurs came into the series having already faced down good challengers in the West, having defeated Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony's Denver Nuggets before making it to this point. They faced the Phoenix Suns too, at the height of Steve Nash's run, where he became the back-to-back regular season MVP. After the Spurs had made it through these earlier challenges, the plucky Cavaliers team wasn't enough to overcome them once they reached the finals. This series had a major impact on LeBron's career because it was the height of his accomplishment the first time around with the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs still had a great regular season record for the next couple of years, but they were unable to make it back to the finals as the Magic and the Celtics eliminated them in the following years to prevent them from advancing. Other top players around the league were winning rings, but LeBron wasn't, and this contributed to his decision to leave for the Miami Heat in a very public move that changed the perception of his career until later on when he returned to the Cavs. LeBron was able to win a title for Cleveland eventually, but before that point, the need to finally win a ring was one of the defining things in his career, and getting swept in the finals was one of the biggest reasons LeBron went to the Miami Heat to accomplish that goal. Getting bronze in the Olympics. The United States has the most dominant national team in basketball. It's usually accepted that the USA is the favorite in any tournament that it enters, and that includes in the Olympics. However, it's possible for even a nation as talented as the USA to get caught slipping if the players take things for granted and don't put their all into it. In 2004, the United States received quite the shock when Team USA finished with only a bronze medal instead of the expected gold. This team wasn't exactly untalented, as it featured names such as Allen Iverson, Carmelo Anthony, and Tim Duncan. It also featured a younger LeBron James, who was enough of a phenomenon at that point to make it onto the team despite his relative lack of experience compared to the other members. But having LeBron wasn't enough to take Team USA to the gold medal. The United States came into the tournament with a 24-game winning streak dating back to 1992, but that ended with their opening game as they lost to Puerto Rico. They would lose 2 more games during the tournament to ensure that they were only able to win the bronze medal. Those losses came to Lithuania and Argentina, nations that aren't exactly giants in the world of basketball. To win the bronze final, the United States did manage to get revenge on Lithuania, who had defeated them earlier. But with the big expectations on the shoulders of the team coming into the tournament, a revenge win and a bronze medal performance wasn't much of a consolation to fans of Team USA. Maybe the team should have relied on LeBron more? He didn't have the most most notable performance himself with his 5.8 per game and 14.6 minutes per game, showing his inexperience at the time. Of course, LeBron would turn things around by the next Olympic cycle and had a more active role on the 2008 team, known as the Redeem Team, thanks to their efforts to bounce back from the bronze medal in 2004. The Decision. If you ask any NBA fan what they think when they hear the words The Decision, they'll know what you're talking about right away. That's because The Decision is one of the most infamous offseason moments in NBA history. However, it was also one of the most controversial and hurt LeBron's reputation for years to come as he joined the Miami Heat as one of the most hated players in the league. When the Cavs couldn't get back to the finals after getting swept by the Spurs, the writing was on the wall that LeBron was going to head elsewhere. Some might not have faulted LeBron for leaving, and just about every team in the league would have been interested in picking up LeBron, who was already in the conversation for the league's top star at that point with others such as Kobe Bryant. It looked like LeBron was going to head to a larger market such as New York, Chicago, or Los Angeles, where his stardom could shine further, and the teams in all of these cities showed interest in him and were the subject of media speculation. However, the decision for LeBron wouldn't be made in the usual method. The news didn't break through some sports reporter coming out with a breaking tweet revealing the next destination of the superstar, like one might have come to expect from these kinds of stories. LeBron chose to break the news himself, but picked the most controversial way of doing it. He would do it via a television special on ESPN called The Decision. There might have been a way to pull this off without it becoming as controversial as it did, but the long runtime and the dragging out of the decision, plus the way that LeBron finally made the announcement, contributed to fans around the league tearing into it and cheering against the former Cavs star once he completed his switch to the Miami Heat. "I'm gonna take my talents to South Beach" became an infamous quote for the wrong reason, as fans of other teams, and the Cavs especially, mocked the program. His behavior after the decision didn't do much to endear him to anyone that wasn't a fan of the Heat at the time. In his first public appearance with his new teammates, LeBron would give another quote that would later become infamous when he said that the Heat would win not 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, or even 7 championships. Obviously, LeBron didn't turn out to win 7 rings in Miami, and after each of the Heat's losses in the finals during the Big Three era, fans of other teams used the soundbite to mock the team and LeBron's overconfidence at the time. But neither the decision or the soundbite that came after it did permanent damage to LeBron's legacy in the long run. LeBron would eventually make his return to the Cavaliers after winning 2 championships with the Heat. While LeBron had originally been a hated figure in Cleveland, the fans were quick to forgive him with his return, and especially after he delivered on his promise to bring a championship to Cleveland, even if it did come many years later than anyone expected originally, losing in 2011. This second finals loss has to go on our list just because of how unexpected it was at the beginning of the season. It was the first year after the decision, and LeBron was on the Heat now. With the other 2 members of the Big Three that had formed around him, it looked like LeBron was finally going to win a ring, and there were a few teams around the league that could be projected to defeat Miami in a 7-game series. They had already dispatched the Chicago Bulls in the Eastern Conference Finals, defeating them by a scoreline of 4-1 to match up with the Dallas Mavericks. But Dallas had more fight in them than most expected going into the series, and Dirk Nowitzki put on a performance that was worthy of Finals MVP to make him the second European player after Spurs point guard Tony Parker to pull off the accomplishment. The championship also gave head coach Rick Carlisle a win as both a player and a coach after he had been a champion in the 1986 Finals as a player. This one brought plenty of people to clown on LeBron on social media. After all, he had created the first player-led super team in NBA history by teaming up with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. The Heat were expected to win this one, and the much-hated super team, failing in their first year, reaching the finals gave plenty of ammo for haters of LeBron to say that he wasn't for real. After all, Michael Jordan hadn't lost in the finals to an underdog like Dallas. LeBron had said before that overcoming the 2011 finals loss was his greatest accomplishment. That statement came in 2018 and would mean that LeBron considered the 2011 loss an even bigger deal than the sweep by the Spurs. Maybe LeBron just had bad luck against teams from Texas.